Well, good morning, ETR Nation. It's a cool day, but sunny, and I think we're going to be working in a building. We're going to an industrial city near here, Newark, Ohio, to work on a boxcar door. We're starting out on the Genesee and Wyoming line. This used to be the old Panhandle, and they keep that locomotive there in the background here for the local work. Well, today with me I have Jimmy, who is a ETR subscriber and part of the group of people that have loved this journey. So he and I are going to go see what we can do. This plant is all jammed up because this car, the railroad won't take it. They can't unload it. The whole thing is a mess, and they're glad we're on the way. So we're going to go see what we can do, and we'll update you when we get there, or maybe along the way. ETR Nation. While Jimmy and I are driving, I'm going to do my best to be a history teacher, particularly railroad history. And what I want to talk to you about is the Panhandle route that was the Pennsylvania Railroad. Now, it started out as the Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Chicago, which is the map you're looking at, from about 1916. To orient you, this up here is Lake Erie, so Canada to the north, most of the U.S. to the south, east that way, the Great West that way. So here's Pittsburgh, and when we talk about the Panhandle route, we're talking about basically how the Pennsylvania Railroad got to Chicago. And what we want to talk about today is the trip we're taking, which is going to lead us to Newark, Ohio. So while we're in Newark, we'll be repairing a railroad car, but I also am going to put a picture of a interlocking tower, which is right here on this railroad, the Toledo and Ohio TOC. You guys are going to have to help me out. I do like class participation, putting the notes. I'm goofing that up, I know. But that railroad with a nice interlocking tower was right where we're going to be. And also I wanted to say, this town right here is famous. Starts with the B, the letter B in Ohio. Somebody fill that in. Bradford, maybe. That was a huge interchange point and a big railroad town. So we're driving along. Thought I'd fill in with this. We'll be there soon and start the work. Okay, Jimmy and I are on scene. We went and found the box car. The door's bad. I think we're going to be able to fix it. But first order of business is to go out to the end of the rail and put the blue flag out. That's what tells the railroad or anybody coming in on the rail that this line is being worked on. There's people here working. So we're going to walk out to the end. Beautiful day, although it's still, what do you think, Jimmy?
It's a little chilly. It's a little chilly. It's a good winter walk, though. We're going to do a little exercise.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like 5 degrees on my face, but it's probably 19. So let's go see how many cars we've got to go here. And
you need a beard, Brian. So.
Yeah, I need a beard to keep my face warm. Okay, we're going to head toward the end. So now we're walking out to the end. This is the peaceful part of the job. You get to walk along and look at these cars. I always look to see if it's loaded by looking at the springs. You know, I like the graffiti. I like looking for clues on the ground that there's been a derailment. Hey, you know, oh, this is a plug door, Jimmy. So this door, I got my hands full, but it swings away, then slides. Where the one that we're working on is hinged. No, not hinged. It's in a track that closes like a closet door, maybe. So this is a plug door. I like to ask people, freight or passenger, and what's your favorite railroad?
Freight. And prior, it would be Rock Island. They're no longer around, but actually, I have to correct myself. The Rock Island Rail is alive and well in Mississippi. Not the original Rock Island, but my current railroad, perhaps Burlington Northern Santa Fe.
Interesting. I read an article on that new Rock Island. Same paint scheme, and boy, their locomotives look nice.
Yeah, they look pretty sharp.
And they've got quite a few miles.
Yeah.
But I think they're they're doing okay.
It's a nice little startup, so
Yeah.
wish them the best.
Well, as we know on the ETR, just wanting something to happen doesn't make it happen. There are a lot of logistics and paperwork and insurance and Well, this is farther out here than I thought it would be, but it tells you more of the story. All these cars are full, and they can't move them because the empty, damaged car is in the building, and we had trouble getting out here to get it fixed. So the railroad was saying how jammed up they were. This is what they mean. They've got a lot of cars to go in that building. The plant was hurting, the railroad was hurting, and Jimmy and I are the solution. It's nice to be the solution, not the problem, huh?
Right.
We are going to be all the way out here, which will be a chance to say that this is the Genesee and Wyoming main line between Newark and Columbus. Used to be, and you guys will correct me if I make an error, please do correct me. It's old Pensy main line, but it was also Conrail, and we think it was part of what was called the Panhandle line. I know some of you guys know this stuff so much better than I do. Those big tanks over there, that's an old Humble refinery, and that had a lot of rail in it at one time.
That's a transition.
Yeah, so we just found a comp bar that reduces the rail size from 131 RE to 90. So 90 pounds in the plant, but 131 out here. Jimmy, this is where we'll put the blue flag.
Yep.
So there we go. Blue flag in place. Now this is the spur right here where you saw Isaac and I repair a car maybe last summer, but that's out of service because the ties are bad. So we were unable to repair in there this time. And that, see where those cars parked down there? That line goes down to a big grain terminal, but used to go down into southern Ohio. Okay, and those are trash cars. This line, its biggest commodity is trash from New York City. Those cars get full of trash in New York City and go down to a big landfill. Well, while we're out at this end of the track, I do want to point out the history that was here, and to give credit where credit's due. You can find this at columbusrailroads.com. But this is the Panhandle facing west. When I said T-O, I kind of got that goofed up. But this crossing track right here is the T&OC, which was the New York Central line. But look at that tower. That's right about where we're standing here at the end of the cars putting out the blue flag. And this is an absolutely beautiful tower. Look at that. And if I can point out, it was all brick. I actually remember this tower standing. It was all brick. It's got ornamental brickwork. A lot of these towers were wooden and, they just got looking really bad. But this thing right to the last day was very square and very nice. And unfortunately, when this line no longer went to the north, then the tower was not needed and it came down. Now, this is the line that goes down to the big grain terminal and then stops before I-70. And over here it curves now and comes onto the Ohio Central, making these diamonds obsolete and long gone, and the tower with it. I love an interlocking tower, and this is a good example of one that I really like the architecture and the style. Love to be able to move something like that to the ETR. So by the way, when I put this photo of this tower up and said Fullerton, no, that's not Fullerton, that's Newark, Ohio. But it was my way of saying I will be in Fullerton this Saturday, the 11th, to watch trains. If you live in or around Fullerton and would like to ask me questions about what we're doing on the ETR, what the delay is, what the possibilities are, meet me there. Let's watch some trains together, and then I'll answer questions. This is the Fullerton train station, Saturday the 11th, 11 in the morning till about 1:30 or so. I'll be there. Oops, I think that, yeah, there we go. So we are inside now working on the car. You can tell what we've done. We've used this massive oak block to get our jack where we can lift up on it. We're going to put another jack here. We'll probably end up using a porta power off the dock to push the door over that way. This isn't really car repair as much as this car cannot go down the railroad with this door like this. It's got to be locked and in place. Now this car may have to go to the car repair shop because we can't really repair it here, but we can secure it so it can travel. Well, this is really a battle of wills. This car door says it's not going back on, but Jimmy and I say, yes, you are. So, of course, we're not strong enough as humans to do this. So what we're using are hydraulics. We're using 3 systems of hydraulics. This is a new porta power that Graham got me. This is its first job. So that big jack's going to do most of the work. This one will support this end. It's on a wedge, so it's going to be pushing that way just a little bit. And then this small porta power is going to go right here and give us that force that goes inward. So we're going to be jacking hard enough on this car that the car will actually rotate. It'll roll a little bit. We'll be picking up part of the weight of the car before this is done. But I think this is going to work, and that makes me happy. Let's see if it makes Jimmy happy. Yes, he's already happy. He was happy before, but that'll make him even happier. Glad you guys are with us. Kind of a unique job on a sunny but cold Saturday. Thank you, ETR Nation. Okay, so we said 3 hydraulic systems, but we're actually back to caveman stuff. Look at these wedges. That's what's going to keep the door from kicking out. And as we it's the old inclined plane. That's what the Egyptians used. As we tap down on that, it's going to take the door that way. And I also like that it's a floor that would stop that door if it fell off the tracks completely. So may not video it in action happening, but this all is just about to happen. Hey, I got to do a little commercial for this Dorsey flashlight. It's going to be about 12 seconds, so hang with me. This charges off a USB in your truck or on your computer. This was hugely helpful. Dorsey lights, work lights, sturdy and strong. I like them. ETR Nation, victorious once again. That door actually went up high enough that it stayed in the track up there, and we got it in the track down here. So our next goal will be to clean all this up and then close the door and lock it. And then email the powers that be that we were successful. So good job, Jimmy.
You as well, Brian.
Yep. Leverage, common sense, a little bit of safety. There's the ETR safety cone reminding us to go home with as many fingers as we got here with. So we're going to clean this up, close the door. It may take a porta power to push the door closed, and it's got to be latched or the railroad still won't be happy, but we're going to get her. Okay, so this job's all done except for closing the door and locking it. I've got this little come along on here, chain fall. There's probably a lot of different names for it, but this is how these doors are commonly closed, and it's moving all right. But see, what we want is, this wedge is going to drop down in there when we get there. Oh, this is a crappy door. Look at that. See how that's bowed out?
Yes.
Now with heat we could fix that. But if this latch right here will go on there and dog down, and if this will latch, we still have the sledging. I don't know if we can. See, that's supposed to be inside of there. Hit that with the sledgehammer. Well, yeah. ETR safety cone, job completed. Well, the sun is setting on this job, but not on the railroad, not on the men that keep it going. There goes Jimmy from Chicago. Another job complete. He's going out to get the blue flag. We retrieved the ETR safety cone. We're going to clean up the truck, load up, head on out of here. So thank you all. Always glad to have you along. Thank you to Jimmy. See you on another adventure.